Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. This is one of those spring days where Mother Nature can't quite decide if she wants to rain or shine. So I have turned on the lights and hope that that makes for, some pretty good viewing conditions for you. This is day 31 in the 100-day project, and I'm back from the few days away, a little family junket, and eager to get back into a rhythm of taping these projects. I made the mistake of mapping out on a calendar like when the 100th day is, and I think it's sometime in June. So that looks a little daunting, but we're almost at the 1/3 mark. So hey, it's all good. I feel the benefits of doing this, and I hope that you are following, joining in where you can, observing where you just want to be a viewer, and life is good. Today is going to be one of those more show and tell type videos. Somewhere along the way, I must have bought this at a thrift store. And it's this little folder. This paper is kind of interesting. It's all textured and pebbly. And I think it had several little brochures inside, little booklets inside. So, of course, Mama didn't raise no fool, so I didn't throw this away. And I used it as a template, or I created a template out of it to try to reconstruct something new for myself. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is just a hair, just a hair over 12 inches this way. I mean, it's easy enough to cheat a little bit at each end and make it work. So basically what I did, and this is almost 11. So a perfect use for a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And of course, I know that compared to some of you out there, my inventory of 12 by 12 papers is puny and beginner, but still I feel a little, maybe a little twang, a little twinge, a little something when I see all that paper. Some of it, of course, is gorgeous, and maybe that's why I still have it. Some of it is not so gorgeous, and maybe that's why I still have it. So I just thought it was a good way to try doing something different with 12 by 12 paper. But I guess the point of this whole thing, now there's no way that you can, I don't know. I guess I didn't think that far ahead. I don't think that there's a way that you as a viewer can replicate this at home. Because it's a little complex here. I don't have a way of scanning a 12 by 11 by 12 something to create a free digital or template or whatever. But the point of this, and I think there is value, and I think you should continue watching, is that I think into all of our lives there come these packaging materials, these things that manufacturers or printers have made out of paper that we can adapt to our own uses. So, and I don't even know, I must have discarded the pattern that I made with this because I don't seem to find it here. I did this probably a year ago. But I will show you the ones I made because, of course, you never stop at one. I'll show you the ones I made and some of the things to perhaps watch for if you try to do something similar at home. So basically the gist of it is this. These two flaps come up and down, and then it closes with this. Now this obviously is, takes a bit of, creates a bit of wear and tear. You can see, maybe you can see that there's a crease forming there. Again, not the most sturdiest thing in the world. However, I think it still has value. So let's look at some of the others I created. This paper, and I like this paper. I like paisley. These colors are fine, but it is so very thin. And I would almost bet that I used this first. Because, of course, if you're going to try something, you're not going to use your best, or at least I'm not going to use my best stuff, because what if it doesn't work? So that is something to consider. Now, it is definitely lighter weight than this. So let's put that aside. Then sometimes a person doesn't quite know what to do with all these glitzy ones. So this paper, and I see that I did go to the, I did obviously replicate the measurements and score where I was supposed to score, and then made these slits where I was supposed to make them. Now, I suppose a person could, kind of reinforce this a bit by perhaps, using some tape or something so that these holes, these slits, don't get sloppy with use. This weight is a little better. Then I chose, I don't even know what this is. Oh, I guess it's probably a Tim Holtz paper that I didn't really like. So this is, becoming more, it's sort of cardstock weight. And neutral enough on the outside that it is attractive. Then I had this paper. I like these color combinations, and this, to be honest, looks really lovely, I think, just as it is. This is, I guess this is another Tim Holtz paper. But as you know, sometimes, there's that sweet spot. You want paper to be thick enough for your purpose, but you don't want it to crack. So it looks like, I don't think I chose that as a design element. I suspect that I was trying to reinforce and hide some cracked paper. So this is obviously, I guess, another Tim Holtz paper that I reinforced some of the seams with using some washi tape. And so, okay, where does that take us, and what is this good for? Well, it seemed to me that this could be a storage, solution here in the studio. Not perhaps I was going to say not perhaps the most useful, but that's not true. I mean, it is good. And for that matter, a person could... See, I didn't think of that till I started talking to you guys. And maybe that's something I should even try with one of these. Is to glue... Let's just fold this flap out of the way. Is to glue these two things down here. And it essentially becomes an envelope, with a bit of, what is that, about more than a quarter, so about 3/8 of an inch, room. The only thing is that if a person, I think, was using this in their studio, and just think how nice, oh my God, these ideas are just coming to me just like that. Imagine lining these all up in a basket or a box with maybe a little, label on the spine or something, identifying what's in there. But anyway, where I was going with this is, okay, so this could be locked. This could be glued closed. But I think it would be very, oh no, you know what? It should be glued this way. Yeah, scratch that. Glue it this way, because this would be kind of the natural opening. However, I think that would be a bit of a pain, honestly, truly, to be having to do this all the time. to open and close it. Now, I suppose if most of the time, say a person was storing ephemera or fussy cuts or something in here. So if most of the time these things were sitting in a box or a basket, and you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to craft, let me go get my fussy cut children. So you take it off the shelf, you open it up, you probably dump them all out on the table, because this is now sealed. That would probably be all right. But I think if there was too much wear and tear on this, this thing would begin to fail. I guess the other option, forget the slits, but then it just becomes an envelope, doesn't it? Anyway, okay, I'll let you guys put your own brain power to work there to figure out what you think you might do with it if you decide to make one. I'll show you what I did do yesterday in anticipation of doing this video, though. This was a paper. You can tell it matches, or it probably came out of the same book as this one did. Same colorway. But, like, really, what do I don't like that ship. That has no connection to me whatsoever as a prairie kid. The weight is good. It's, well, let's use this one. It's not bad. It's pretty good. But I thought, okay, what am I going to show the people? What am I going to show the people? So I decided to treat it like this, to pretend that this is the way, this is its, orientation. So I decorated it just with some numbers and some labels. And then I thought, well, okay, let's reinforce this baby. So I used newsprint from an old, I bought this broadsheet, I think it's a year's worth of issues of a newspaper from the 1920s. And of course, the paper is fragile, but it's also interesting because of ads and different typesetting and so on. So I did a collage here. Oh, first of all, because this paper was white on the inside, using vintage photo, I distressed all the seams and the edges. Inking is really quite a slow process when you think about it. But anyway, I did that because I knew that I didn't want to have anything, I wanted my papers to butt up but not extend over any of these folds, because that would be a point of friction. So I thought, okay, well, I've got the inside covered. I added these pockets, these things later. So why don't I use the width of that spine to make a little journal? So I just, rather than digging through every piece of paper that I own, I just grabbed something that was within reach. And the papers, where's my little thing here? This is what the papers ended up being in size, 7 3/4 by 4 1/2. So I had, coffee dyed this. I love it because of the, just number after number after number. This is a page out of my French grunge digital kit. This was, this is some grid paper to learn how to make Chinese, like the calligraphy, Chinese letters, I guess. More of that same paper. And then this that had been in a ledger that I bought, where a guy did all these columns of numbers and calculations, whatever. So most of the sheets had to be folded back or whatever, because of course I didn't want to just tear them off. So that's what we have here, which, I did add these labels. I don't remember whose kit that is from, and just tucked in something as an indication. Number one, I think the black looks really good. Boy, have I been, you know, it's either one extreme or the other. Either I'm too close to myself or I'm way over here where you can't see a damn thing. Anyway, okay, this should be better. I think this black is a nice, you know, shot in the arm for bringing a bit of drama and playing up on the black that's in the newsprint. And then over here, I just put, I think these were pharmacy labels that I bought from someone. And the reason I did it here is because I thought, okay, and maybe you can't really tell, but I had laid this out and this out separately, and I had a little fold there like here. And I'm thinking, well, why am I doing that? That's not a point of folding. So I deliberately did this, both sides, to reinforce these points of weakness. Because I'll tell you, even before I started, and you can't tell that now, I Scotch taped here and here because one of these was already beginning to tear. So I did that before I started gluing down the newspaper. So by doing this, I disguised that area that really shouldn't have been left blank. Like this should have all been covered in one piece, which would have made it stronger. Plus, it helps reinforce this, so it is not as likely to be a point of breakage. And then here, of course, the challenge was make the whole, okay, let's put these little doohickeys in there. Oh, now that it's stiffer, it's not quite as easy to. Clearly, I didn't try this before showing you and after I reinforced it. I'm just wondering, maybe these things don't have to be quite that long. Why couldn't I trim that a bit? Make it a little easier to. Okay, so I wanted this to work. I wanted the decoration to work as it is when it's closed, which meant that it sort of had to, you know, work with this little flap being closed. Honestly, should I do that right here? I feel very much like I could trim, because it, see, now with this here, that can't bend really. Okay, let's live on the edge. I'm just going to shave a hair off here. So that's what came off. I'll re-ink it if this works. And this is kind of not convenient. Okay. Let's see if that's a little easier to back in. See, this one is still, okay, why don't I do the harder one first and the easier one second? Yeah, this could, I guess, stand maybe a little more decoration, or maybe what I should do is open it out, like get it flat, and maybe do a bit of stamping or something there just to, because that looks rather naked at the top there. Although sometimes, believe it or not, I think less is more. Anyway, trimming that does not seem to have hurt anything, but yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, don't do this project. I think that what I would say here, the moral of the story would be, if something like this falls into your lap, play with it, adapt it, use it, be prepared to change on the fly. I still love the look of many of these, but it now makes me think that maybe rather than it's almost like, I guess, you know, once I added this signature, it almost becomes like a folio. So to take this a step further, a person could add those, you know, those circular, you know, like a thing with a circle and a brad, and do the string closure. A person could also add something to this flap that would come down and flip up and down with the, I might have to keep working on this. I'll have to go back to my papers though and see if there's more sheets of this that sort of color coordinate. I think that this has some real possibilities. What unfortunately is going to be the potential problem here. See, there's a little, is this thing. Yeah, see, that is starting to let go, mind you. I just used glue stick on all of that. I could put a dab of glue in there, something that holds a little bit. Whoa, a dab or 5 of glue in there. And this too needs a bit of something. Or would it be better? Maybe let's not do that. Maybe what I should do, but that might look goofy, is, oh, for heaven's sake, just because you guys are watching. This corner of this, and this is on cardstock, is what's making it hard for me to bend it to get in there. So I'm going to just randomly nip this off. And if I find that this is a project that well, obviously I'm going to keep it as a prototype, if nothing else. I could put something there, some decorative thing there, in a lightweight paper to cover that missing corner now. So let's see if that makes it any easier. Yeah, that definitely makes it easier to get it in and out of there. Oh, I also realize I probably should have. Might as well emphasize these. I'm just using my thing without re-inking it. Not getting a great deal out of it, but enough. Cool. maybe just for the heck of it. How are we doing for time? 25. I was going to say, just for the heck of it, why don't I play with one of these? This is so flimsy, though. I'll probably, because this is so lightweight, I think what I'll do is probably just forget I ever tried this particular paper and just salvage this for, you know, collage or whatever. Collage fodder. That's the deal there. Okay, these could be decorated. This one I honestly just kind of really love the way it is. Okay, I'll leave those guys aside. So this becomes my guinea pig. Now, if I glue that, I want to make sure that we, you know, kind of line things up and stay true and keep this, you know, keep it square and so on. So maybe what I'll do is make a faint pencil line so that my glue doesn't extend past there. Or past there. Glue this shut and then make a decision about the this thing at the top here. I'm going to use art glitter glue because we know that the hold will be quicker and stronger. Oh, what do I have there? Than a glue stick. Oh, maybe it would have been good to do one side at a time. Hazel. Okay, let me... What do I want here? Quick, quick, quick. Nurse, scalpel. Okay, I want the corner to be kind of nice and neat and crisp. This... that might need a reapplication. Okay, I don't know whether you can see or not. I'm trying to make sure that I can see. I'm using my, this is almost like in sewing when you're turning a collar. Like you've sewn a collar and you want to turn it and you want to make sure that the points of the collar are nice. Maybe what I'll try to do is apply a bit of, see, I made the mistake in a recent video about having too much junk over there, and then that forced me out of frame. I don't know whether this is doing any good. It's probably already bonded. But it's the placebo effect. It makes me feel better to do it. Okay, so that side is good. This side could have been, oh, look at that. I can lift it and, whoops, I should be pulling this here. Now, I can't totally straighten it out. See, this side, I don't know if you can tell, this side is not as good as this side. This is nice and neat. This is off. So I guess what I should have done is just glue one side at a time. That was pushing my luck. Okay, now the other thing I could see this being useful for is a person selling a journal and wanting to include some spare parts. This must have been at the point of making this template. Okay, so now if I were to cut that, there would still be there'd be, you know, a little bit of overlap. You know, this is one of those things. If I cut it, I can't reattach it. So I want to think this through. Okay, can you see that right now there would be, okay, assuming that's closed tight, there would be about, see right here, there'd be about, well, almost a, let me get this lined up here. There'd be about 1/4 of an inch of overlap. So theoretically, that could stay closed. Now these slits that I've cut could be disguised, you know, by just collaging something over it. So the question becomes what to do with this part here. And we want, I think most of us would want it to be symmetrical. So I could just, and maybe I should do that in stages. Okay, I'll line it up on a grid here. Here's my shortest ruler. Okay. So what I'm doing, I've got this edge. I'm lining this edge up on a horizontal. I'm going to also scooch it over so that I can see this 13-inch line and here, and I will just essentially draw a light pencil line to make sure that I cut that straight and that both sides are the same. I'm going to move this over, same idea, line up in 2 places, keeping it still straight horizontally. Okay, so now when I cut it off, it will be even, Steven, and we'll see how that looks. If that looks kind of dumb, then I can keep cutting more things off. That already looks a bit neater. Cutting it off like so, like cutting that whole thing off, I don't think would be that good an idea because you lose some options. I think what I would do, again, this isn't the thickest paper in the world, is maybe to avoid, because these corners are obviously going to keep getting, oh, no can do. I was going to say I'd round that corner. I wonder if this other thing would work. I bought this thinking that, boy, I need this. And for the longest time, I don't know that this is a corner chomper. I don't think I was pulling these things out fully enough because I'm thinking, well, why the heck did I spend all that money? This I bought at a thrift store. Didn't even really know what I was buying. I paid all this money and I wasn't able to, can you see that? I would be able to get in there But it obviously is not really the ideal situation. Boy, how did I make it work on that side? Because see, this and this are kind of bumping into each other. That's, oh, I'm going to end up having to trim this, I think. That's not hitting in the right spot. That's missing totally. How did I do this one? I had that part of it underneath the paper. Okay, I guess that's what I did. Okay, so that has taken away the, the pointy edges that would be getting, beat up. A person could what I feel like doing. Let me do it. I'm just going to fold. If the person had any sense, they'd be pulling out a scoreboard, I think, but I never promised that I had sense. Okay, I'm just folding that back to give that a little more stability. Now, I suppose another option, but of course I wasn't going to do that here with you guys watching, was to line this inside before I glued it shut to reinforce this paper. Or use cardstock and not have to fart around doing all of that. I'm kind of annoyed with this. I don't like that this isn't lined up. I wonder if I can... Maybe this is going in my sample binder, prototype binder thingamajig. That's where I usually put the ones that are less than perfect. Yeah, I'm sure this paper is so thin it would just tear if I tried to separate it. And it's not like I can... You see what's irking me here? Anyway, okay, this has now made this stronger. And I think that if a person wanted to, put an eyelet or a brad or some, a brad type closure that's held in place with a brad, that makes a bit more sense now, or is more likely to withstand the in and out. I see this side wants to gape open too. What the heck? Yeah, I think this this idea has possibilities, but it also, there's some, it's like many things. It can get, why am I pushing my luck here? Why don't I just eyeball this? With, I think, some more unpressured thinking, it can, some of these things can be worked out. See, it's tearing here. So either, okay, moral of the story. You either need to use a heavier weight paper to begin with, but maybe be prepared for having to reinforce the seams with washi tape, because they are going to, if the paper cracks. Or failing that, if you don't use cardstock to begin with, before doing any kind of gluing, do line the inside with whatever it is you want to line it with, just remembering not to cover these folds, because that will create other problems down the road. Or if you're at the point that I'm at with this, use something to reinforce some of these folds. So it could be washi tape, it could be something collaged over that, you know, a decorative piece, and only you and I will know why that's there. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that you didn't find this video a total flop. I think what it proves a couple of things. It shows that there are possibilities when things like this come into our lives. We have the ability to adapt, modify, and it also shows that depending on the material that you use and your ultimate purpose, it will depend how the project evolves. So I think more can be done to this one to complete it. And the reason I started playing with this one in particular is because I liked it. I liked the pattern the least because of that ship. So that means that if I work out the bugs on this one, that is, you know, I've invested the most time and energy and supplies into, like by doing some of the things that I mentioned as possibilities here, then that means if I go to this one next, or these other two cardstock ones, then I will have, each one will keep getting better. So I hope that despite, you know, some of the stuff that went on here today, I hope that you found that this was a good use of your time. And I also hope that it encourages you to, look for these opportunities in your own home, as well as to keep coming back here, because truly you don't know what might happen on this channel. Anyway, I will see you guys again tomorrow, and if you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. I am about 350 subscribers, and I've committed to doing a giveaway at the 500 subscriber mark, which, you know, shouldn't be that difficult. Goodness knows thousands have done it before me. So I, and the prize, it's not yet put together, will include some original and pretty unique pieces of paper. I won't spoil the surprise. You're going to have to watch some of my thrift haul. No, I think I called them books. So over the next, I have several videos. I scored a bunch of stuff. I did a miscellaneous thrift haul video that's yet to appear. Then I had so many books that I divided it into 3 videos, and you will see, I'm not sure which one it's in. Those will be, they're scheduled out to, you know, over a few days or weeks. One of those is going to knock your socks off because of the wonderful stuff that is in it. And so I committed to removing some of those things and putting them in the prize pack. Anyway, let me stop gushing on and let you go. See you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.